What's up, guys? This is Nico from Limitless, and as you can see, today we will take a look at the upcoming set, Sun&Moon Unbroken Bonds. As we can see in the introduction of this post, basically, thanks to a leak from Spain, where apparently the set is already available for people to buy, we finally have the completely confirmed set list. Even though the set will be released on May 3rd and pre-releases are only starting this weekend. So that's very nice that we actually have the complete set list going into pre-releases already, because that makes it much easier for people to know what to look out for when opening packs or when trying to trade for extra cards at pre-release. Let's get right into it. Right off the bat, we have one of the most hyped and probably also best cards from the set, which is Pheromosa and Buzzwole GX. Basic Pokemon, classic. First attack is Jet Punch for 1 grass energy. We're pretty used to seeing Jet Punch for fighting energy on regular Buzzwole, but since Pheromosa and Buzzwole is a grass Pokemon, it makes sense to take an attack that Buzzwole has basically and convert it to the type. So and also it's not necessarily like converted, because in the video game, of course, Buzzwole is also like bug, I think. So it makes a lot of sense. Jet Punch 30. This deck does 30 damage to one of your bench Pokemon. Attack itself hasn't changed from a Buzzwole GX. And then second attack, which is clearly based on Pheromosa, is Elegant Soul for 2 grass and 1 colorless. 190. During your next turn, this Pokemon's Elegant Soul base damage is 60. Normally, when you see those kinds of attacks, it's usually this Pokemon can't use the attack during the next turn, but here they chose to go for just weakening the attack for the next turn, which makes it better than usual, because, for example, Zero Aura GX, if you attack with Zero Aura for 160, you can't use the attack next turn, so you would have to have a switching option to even be able to attack, and with this attack, you can just say, okay, I don't have my switching option, but I can still go for a 60 hit into the defending Pokemon, which is pretty nice, I guess. And then the most interesting and also best part about this card is the GX attack, which for 1 grass is Beast Game GX. If your opponent's Pokemon gets knocked out by damage from this attack, take an additional prize card. So right, so good. If this Pokemon has 7 extra energies attached to, take 3 additional prize cards instead. Which means you take the normal prize cards for KOing your opponent's Pokemon plus 3. And of course, since Pheromosa and Buzzwole GX is an Ultra Beast, this card gains access to Beast Ring, which means that you can actually, with enough Beast Rings, power up Beast Game in 1 turn, which still requires you to, of course, take the KO, because 50 damage is not a lot, but if you manage to take the KO onto basically anything, you take almost all your prize cards. For example, let's say you Guzma any kind of basic on your opponent's bench, like a 60 HP basic, you attach a beast energy, you do 80 damage, or you use any other damage modifier basically to get to 60 damage. You KO, and you take 4 prizes for 60 HP basic. Or 50 HP even, like if the opponent had a 50 HP basic Pokemon or a grass weak basic Pokemon like Rockruff, you just take 4 prizes on a basically one which is a card that's usually never more than 1 prize, so that's pretty strong. And but this card was also super strong and performed super good in Japan. But we will get to later cards in the set where it becomes kind of questionable if it will actually be able to live up to the hype and will actually perform in our format as well. So next up, Caterpie ability Pupate. Once during your turn, you may flip a coin. If that's what you deck for a card which evolves from this Pokemon and put it on top to evolve it. Then shuffle your deck. I mean, even if you flip heads, you only evolve into stage 1, and I mean, I don't think there was ever a good Butterfree, so I don't think it even matters. So let's check the next one. Metapod, Pokemon Stage 1, ability, emergence. Once during your turn, you may flip a coin. If you had such a deck for a card which evolves from this Pokemon and put it on this Pokemon to evolve it. Then shuffle your deck. Also no good attack, so basically your goal with this card is going to be flip heads with Caterpie, evolve into Metapod, flip heads with Metapod, evolve into Butterfree, and now let's see what Butterfree actually does, if it's even worth to take the risk of trying to evolve. Butterfree, 130 HP, stage 2. For 1 colorless triple charge, search your deck for 3 basic energy cards and attach them to your Pokemon anywhere you like, then shuffle your deck. Yeah, just as I thought. I mean, the text sounds neat, of course, and you're like, oh, turn 1, 3 basic energies from my deck. But there are Pokemon that have similar attacks that also power up, like from your deck. Even simple stuff like search your deck for 1 lightning energy card, attach it to one of your bench Pokemon. That's already better than this because you get 3 basic energy, but that's not gonna happen on your first turn. Like, you have a 25% chance of actually getting it because you need to flip heads on Caterpie, then you need to flip heads on Metapod. So, I mean, it's not groundbreaking that it would ever be worth to take the risk. Next up, we have Oddish. Stun Spore for 1 colorless, flip a coin. If heads, your opponent's active Pokemon is not paralyzed. Classic Oddish attack, but not too spectacular. Second attack, Seed Bomb for 2 energies, 20. Then the next Oddish for 1 grass energy, Hook for 10. And actually, I like this card. This card looks nice. Next up we have Gloom. Ability, Intolerable Smell. Once during your turn, you may flip a coin. If heads, look at your opponent's hand and put a basic Pokemon you find there onto their bench. That's actually a very neat attack because there have been cards like Pokepuff, Captivating Pokepuff, or Target Whistle that either put from the discard or from your opponent's hand onto their bench, and that could always been like abused for some strategies, or in worst case just clanking up your opponent's bench with a Lele. Best case you can actually use it to your strategy, so that's actually nice. So if there's a good Vileplume that you want to use to attack, then I think this Gloom is actually going to be a very good addition. Okay, next up we have a Vileplume, of course. Ability, Variety Pollen. Once during your turn, you may flip a coin. If heads, choose either Poison, Burn, Sleep, or Confusion. Your opponent's active Pokemon are affected by the chosen condition. And Giant Bloom for 3 energy, 90, heal 30 from this Pokemon. Okay, so the attack is super bad. Really not worth to play around, but depending on what kind of deck you play, the Vileplume might actually not be too useless. But what I really dislike about Gloom and Vileplume is that you still, again, have to flip coins. Even though, I mean, okay, of course, Vileplume's ability would be broken. But I would have much rather loved to see Gloom be an ability like, when you evolve this Pokemon, look at your opponent's hand. Because that wouldn't be broken and that would take away the coin flip, so you can actually try to build reliable strategies around it. Okay, next up, we have Venonat, Radar Eye. Look at the top 7 cards of your deck and put 1 card you find there into your hand. Shuffle the remaining cards into your deck. Definitely a very neat attack if there's a good Venomoth, but we will have to see that. And then Flop, this name is very fitting. Flop, double colorless for 20, second Venonat. Actually, they both have the same HP. Usually it's like one is 50, one is 60, or one is 60, one is 70, so here it's actually just purely around who has the better attacks, because retreat cost, weakness, HP is everything the same. So Psybeam 10, your opponent's active Pokemon is not confused. Yeah, if there's ever a Venomoth deck, I would definitely I mean, I don't know about other Venonats in the format, but judging from those two, I would definitely go for the Radar Eye one, because it just increases your consistency, and I mean, when does confusion ever matter? Especially in a format where so many switching cards are played. Then we have a regular Venomoth, 90 HP, stage 1, Assassin Fight for Flight, not Fight. For 1 energy, if your opponent's active Pokemon is affected by a switching condition, this attack does 90 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. And Poison Powder, 1 grass energy, your opponent's active Pokemon is not confused. Poison Powder is confused, makes sense. is now poisoned and 30 damage. So, I mean, I guess the strategy that they are going for within the set is like playing like a special condition deck. I mean, because I know there's also going to be like a supporter card that helps with that, and then you also have Vileplume, and then you have like Gloom that's kind of annoying, but I don't ever see that strategy working reliable or even being too useless. So this Venomoth is probably going to be pretty bad, but maybe Venonat GX, Venomoth. I mean, okay, one grass, 2 colorless, secret ninja teaching, 110 plus. If you played Koga's Trap from your hand this turn, this deck does 90 more damage. If you played Janine from your hand this turn, during your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon from basic Pokemon. Okay, that might actually be a neat concept to try out with the new set, like a Venomoth GX deck with Koga and Janine, and then you get some options what you play, and I guess you could even just play Lieutenant Surge and play both. So you go for the 200 hit and for the invincibility to basics. That might actually be a very neat card. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I will try it at least out when the new set hits PTCGO. And then we have Dance Exchange 60, shuffle your hand into it, then draw 6 cards. So basically Big Wheel GX for 60 damage on a stage 1. Yeah, to be honest, I don't really see that being too useful. I mean, maybe sometimes when you get like a turn to Venomoth, your opponent doesn't have too much, and he's playing like a stage 1 deck, and then you can just go for the 60 hit and also shuffle your hand into a deck. Might be neat sometimes, I guess. Okay, next up, Bellsprout. Okay, I'm getting the feeling that we have a lot of like grass Pokemon and also Pokemon that are basically famous for applying special conditions or anything similar. So I guess that's like the thematic of the set. Bellsprout, Razor Leaf, 20 damage, really nothing too spectacular. Then Weeping Bell, Burning Venom. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now burnt and poisoned. For 1 energy, that's not too horrible, but it's on a stage 1, so again, it's kind of horrible, so yeah, probably not. And then Victory Bell, stage 2, of course, 1 grass, reactive poison, 10 plus. This deck does 60 more damage for each special condition on your opponent's active Pokemon. So I believe Koga, like the card that we read about on Venomoth, is like either confusion and poison, or you choose one. I'm pretty sure it makes sense to be both because it's a supporter card. So I guess with Koga that would be 130. Condition itself would be like another 10. That's really not good enough on a stage 2. And then for 1 grass, 2 colorless, Gastro is at 90 until the end of next turn. The defending Pokemon has no ability. That might be neat, depending on what deck you play against, but also again, if the card itself isn't too good and then attaching 3 energies, yeah. I mean, I would have really, like, the thing is, this attack gets released almost every, like, 2 or 3 sets. Like, you deal X amount of damage for each special condition, and that has never been good except once as a, like, meme deck. Because there was Ninetales Amoonguss deck, some years ago. Amoonguss applies, like, I believe it was, like, Burn and Confusion or something, or Burn and Poison. And then you go in with the Ninetales and you hit. But Pokemon had less HP back in the day. You had the Ninetales, which has the attack on stage 1. And you could also play, like, other Ninetales. To round out your strategy. And the most important part, it was still a meme deck. Like, it was never super competitive, so let's just ignore this attack. Okay, next up, Tangle Drake. Choose one of your bot's bench Pokemon and switch it with their active Pokemon. That's actually a neat attack. Sometimes that can be very useful. I would love to. I'm really not sure if the attack is currently in the format, but having this attack with like sleep or burn or poison is like very interesting and has been used in the past on strategies. So maybe. So this might also, depending on the deck, be a very useful attack. And Gentle Slap 30 for 2 colorless, not anything special. Tangrowth, stage 1, bind down, 1 grass, 30 damage, the defender can't retreat. And for 3 colorless, Chloro Whip 90, if this Pokemon has 2 grass energy attached to it, heals 60 HP from this Pokemon. So what this basically means, because having a stage 1 that attacks for 90 for 3 colorless is super useless. There's unless there's a super good side effect, that's never good. And then we have the issue, if this Pokemon has 2 grass energy attached to it, heals 60 damage. So that means you have to attach 2 grass. So we can agree on that. So why would you ever attach 4 energies? You won't. So you will not use DCE. So you will attach grass, or grass, and like some other kind of basic energy, or 1 colorless delivering energy, which makes this attack even worse, because you need to attach 3 colored energies to deal 90 damage and heal 60 from a Pokemon that most of them will probably get one shot anyways. So other than at the pre-release, this is not going to be any good. Grubbin. Electro Signal. Search your deck for 2 lightning Pokemon, reveal them, put them into your hand. Then shuffle your deck. And Corkscrew Punch, 3 colorless, 30 damage. Electro Signal is actually interesting, especially because of all the lightning support we have right now. So maybe that will actually come in like as a support Pokemon if people don't want to play Jirachi or similar anymore, because Mug becomes too relevant, or anything in that matter. So that might actually be useful for any lightning deck, and we yet have to see the new Vikavolt in the set, so maybe it makes even sense for this one. And the last grass card is going to be Katana, basic Pokemon of course, for 1 colorless Daikiri, 10+. If you have exactly 4 remaining prize cards, this attack does 120 more damage. Okay, so it's basically reverse Jet Punch. It's based on your remaining prize cards, which is very interesting actually, because that means your opponent can't play around it. So you will always get your Daikiri turn. I like that. And False Swipe for 1 grass and 2 colors, flip a coin. If it's put damage counters on this Pokemon's active Pokemon until it on your opponent's active Pokemon until it has 10 remaining HP. Yeah, I don't like False Swipe because you have to flip, but Daikiri, especially with all the beast support we already have and the relevance of beasts in the current meta, actually, this card is actually very good. Yeah, Daikiri is Katana with Daikiri is actually very good. Okay, now we get to the next big boy, the card I talked about when we talked about Buzzwole, because when Buzzwole was released, this card wasn't a thing. When Buzzwole won the tournament in Japan, this card wasn't a thing. And ever since, this has been the most relevant deck, and of course Buzzwole is weak to fire. So let's take a look at what this card even does. For 1 fire, 1 colorless, outrage 30, this deck does 10 more damage for each damage counter on this Pokemon. So I guess this is your secondary attack that you use once you smacked with your big attacks once. You got hit, and then you can still use outrage, depending on what you need for the KO or something. Then we have for 3 fire energy, and 1 colorless, Flare Strike, 230. This Pokemon can't use Flare Strike during your next turn. Okay, not too spectacular, but I'm pretty sure we will see fire support in this set. Actually, I'm 100% certain, but we will get to that later. And then for 3 fire energy, Double Blaze, 200. If this Pokemon has 3 extra fire energy attached to it, this deck does 100 more damage, and this deck's damage is not affected by any effects of your opponent's active Pokemon. So basically what we can say by looking at this card on its own, without any support, this card is pretty bad. And this card is based on just smacking super hard. There's no fancy strategies. There's no play around what your opponent has, do this and force your opponent, blah blah blah. No, this attack is purely designed to smack hard and not quick, I guess. So we will have to see what kind of fire support we get, because right now, as it is, this card is just another Charizard card that has a big number of HP and a big number of damage printed on it. But keep this card definitely in mind, because once we get to the later sections, this will become relevant again. Growlithe for 1 fire energy, life coil 10, for 2 fire energy, combust to 20, just a classic basic Pokemon, but 80 HP. And then Arcanine for 3 fire energy, Grand Flame 120, attach 2 fire energy from your discard to one of your bench Pokemon. Heat Tackle 190 for 4 fire energies. This Pokemon does 50 damage to itself. I mean, yeah, people will probably just think, Arcanine Charizard, but no, you need 3 energies here first, so that takes way too long. Darumaka, Nitro Charge, 1 colorless, 10 damage. Search your deck for a fire energy card attached to this Pokemon, and then shuffle your deck, and then another flop for 20. Okay, it's not too relevant. Then Damatian, Pokemon, stage 1, find Wildfire, search your deck for 3 fire energies, reveal them and put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck, classic attack, and then Flare Blitz 110, discard all fire energy attached to this Pokemon for 2 fire energy. Also not too relevant. Volcanion, 120 HP. I think it's actually the first regular, like the lowest HP regular Volcanion, because I think the lowest before was like 130, but I could be wrong. Flare Starter, search your deck for fire energy and attach to one of your Pokemon. If this is your first turn, search your deck for 3 fire energy and attach them to your Pokemon anywhere you like. Either way, shuffle your deck. There we go. We only had to scroll like 3-4 cards, and we already find the first very important card for this Charizard deck, because I mean, with all the ball search, with all the nest walls, and this not being a prism card, so you can actually play 4th, this is what you want to go for turn 1. Turn 1, Volcanion, attach fire energy, attack, attach 3 fire energy to a Charizard. Charizard's ready to go turn 2. Easy. And yeah, Feverish Explosion, 50 plus if you have 4 fire energy or more in play. This attack does 60 more damage. Yeah, this is horrible, but the first attack is super good. Next up, Litten, Cinch. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now burned. Okay. Next Litten, Day. Draw a card, then this Pokemon is asleep. Okay. 1 fire, 2 colors, Big Bite 60, the thing will come retreating upon 6 turn. Okay. Let's move on. Torracat, Pokemon stage 1, Fire Fang 20 for 1 fire energy, your opponent's active Pokemon is now burned. Okay. And then Incineroar finally, stage 2, ability Strong Yell, all your opponent's attack do 30 more damage against your opponent's active Pokemon. If you have more than 1 strong ability, apply only 1 at a time. Okay, this is pretty bad in any non-Incineroar decks. And so as long as you don't play attacking Incineroar GX, this card is going to be horrible, because you don't want to set up a stage 2 to deal 30 more damage. So you have to play the basic anyways, which means you have to play Incineroar. But if you play the GX Incineroar, which can accelerate Darkness Energy, and you play it purely as a support card, you don't want to waste any of your Torracats or Littens to evolve into this one. So what this means is, unless attacking Incineroar GX becomes good, this card is bad. Salandit, burn grass, discard a grass energy from your one's active Pokemon for 1 fire, 10 damage. This is actually funny. This is actually a funny attack, because you actually like discard a specific type of energy. Maybe this is the Buzzwole Pheromosa GX counter we've been looking for, just discarding all the grass energies. I don't know, maybe. Well, it's definitely funny. I like the attack, but probably not going to be too relevant. Then Salazzle, Pokemon, stage 1, ability Roast Reveal. Once during your turn, you may discard a fire energy card from your hand, then draw 3 cards. I mean, everyone that has been playing for a long time, actually a super long time, now that I think about it, already knew what this attack is going to do when I read the name, because there used to be a Ninetales from Hot Gold Soul Silver, which exactly had the same, like, of course back then it was not ability but Poke Power, Roast Reveal, discard 1 fire energy, draw 3 cards, and that card was actually pretty good, but that was simply because it had a deck that built around the synergy, because the old Reshiram Typhlosion deck with Typhlosion Prime, which said, okay, if you have like once during your turn, for each of your Typhlosion of course, you attach 1 fire energy from the discard pile to one of your Pokemon, and then put 10 damage counter on that Pokemon as well. So what you do, you discard a fire energy, draw 3 cards, reattach it. But it's probably going to be too slow in the current format, especially because back in the day the format wasn't that draw supporter based. You purely used like your draw supporters for early turns, like get your setup, but after that you played with your board. Like you had on-board draw, you had on-board abilities to accelerate energies, and that's basically all you did. And nowadays you just go Guzma, Cynthia, Jirachi, whatever. So I think this card is too slow for the current format. Next up, we have regular Blacephalon. I think that's the first time we get a regular Blacephalon, and that's, if I'm not mistaken, also the last Ultra Beast that was missing as a regular. Yeah, Blacephalon Blazer for 1 fire energy, 10 plus. Flip one of your face on price cards, face up. If that's a fire energy, this deck does 50 more damage. This card stays face up. I mean, of course, it's like built towards Blacephalon GX's attack, because like both deal with price cards, both have to do with energies, haha funny, but that's not too good. So let's see, Flameboy Circus. For 3 fire energy, this card has many fire energy cards as you from your hand as you like. This deck does 50 damage for each card this card this way. I actually think this card is very decent. Yeah, I think this card is very decent. As of right now, again, we still have to see what other fire support we get, but I mean, it can abuse B-String, and your opponent won't be able to avoid B-String turn if you play like a non-GX based deck, because even if they KO 2 Pokemon at once, that means they go either to 4 or 3 prizes, because they can't skip 4-3 prizes, because that means they have to take 3 in 1 turn. So you get your B-String guaranteed, you have Volcanion to power up 1 Blacephalon. I mean, maybe. We will have to see other fire support, because like the one thing that's like kind of bothering me a bit is that you have to discard the fire energy from your hand, which means you need to need your deck based around having a lot of fire energy cards, and also a lot of cards that draw fire energy, like Fiery Flint and stuff. So yeah, let's wait for other fire support, because before we judge this card too much, I think. Squirtle, Bubble, 10, flip a coin, effects, your opponent's exposed or paralyzed. War Turtle, stage 1 ability, Solid Shell. This Pokemon takes 20 less damage from attacks. This is always a very nice ability to see on any like basic or stage 1, because that makes them like less vulnerable. So that's very nice. And then Aqua Slash for 2 water energy. This Pokemon can't attack during your next turn. Okay, I mean, yeah, I guess. And then we have Blastoise, which actually looks kind of weird. I mean, is it just like, okay, I know, listen to me, hear me out. So I know we had Detective Pikachu cards come out very recently, and they look like pretty weird, but that's because it's based on a live action Pokemon movie. But this card, judging from this like experience from Pokemon sets, this doesn't fit at all. Like, to me, this looks like a fan-made drawing of Blastoise put on a custom-made card. Like, I don't know. To me, this doesn't look like a real card. But I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Ability, Solid Shell. This Pokemon takes 30 less damage from attack. Okay, so it's going to be pretty tanky. Then for 2 water energy, Rocket Splash 60 times. Shuffle as many water energy attached to your Pokemon into your deck as you like. This deck does 60 damage times the number of cards shuffled into your deck this way. Ooh. I don't know if I like this, because that means you have to have cards that continuously attach like water energy from your hand or from your deck even. So I don't know. And then Big Guy ZGX, attach as many water energy cards from your hand to your Pokemon any way you like. Okay, unless there's like any secret. Wait, let me. Okay, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I guess you want to play the like Blastoise from Team Up with this. I mean, that might actually work, because you because normally, like, if it would be any other stage 2, I would say no, it doesn't work, it's horrible. But because they share the same basic, that makes things a lot easier and a lot different also. So it might have potential, especially because it, like, weakness wise, it deals very well with fire. So, but I'm not sold, because it's, even if you use the other Blaster, it's a purely stage 2 deck. So I'm not sold yet. But definitely a card with potential, that's for sure. Okay, Poliwag. ability turning lymph. If you went second during your first turn, you may leave your opponent's active Pokemon confused. Okay, that's funny. Watering for 1 grass. 1 grass. Okay, 1 water, 10 damage. Poliwag, the next one with 10 more HP. Call for family, set your deck for a basic Pokemon, put it into your event, then shuffle your deck. Okay. None of those is too spectacular, so Poliwheel is gonna be stage 1, of course. Bubble, flip a coin, affects your opponent's active Pokemon are paralyzed, and 20 damage. Knuckle Punch, 40 damage for double colorless. Also not spectacular. Poliwrath. Knuckle Impact for 50 damage. So he gained 10 damage by evolving. And then Whirl Rush, 90. If you have Poliwag or Poliwhirl on your bench, this attack does 90 more damage. Yeah, that's bad. It doesn't have like good energy acceleration unless Blastoise, but that's another stage 2. And if you want to play any kind of like this attack, like 90 plus, or if you have this and this on your bench, then you do more damage, then just play Aerodactyl. Aerodactyl is a stage 1, you have energy acceleration with Malama. If you have no GX and EX, you deal 190 or something, or 180. So yeah, there's no reason to play Poliwrath. Tentacool, Flying Bubble Jutsu. Okay, that's a nice attack name. You gotta give him that at least. If you play Janine from your hand during this turn, this attack does 50 more damage. So okay, that's still. I mean, I guess you can just go and donk people at the pre-release if you have Janine and Tentacool. Tentacruel, Weak Tentacle, move 1 energy from one of your opponent's Pokemon and move it to another of their Pokemon. Put 3 damage counts on the Pokemon you move the energy to. Twin around 60 or Twine around for 3 colors, flip a coin, affects your opponent's active Pokemon are paralyzed. I actually kind of like Wicked Tentacle because if you build a deck with like annoying abilities and stuff, you can actually make this deck work because you can just move energies around to use this Pokemon. But this format is not too based on having useless Pokemon on your bench, so I don't know how well this is actually doable in the current format. Okay, next up, Slowpoke. Growl, the defending Pokemon's attack to 20 less damage upon next turn, and Tail Whip for 20 for 2 colorless. Slowbro, Yawn, your opponent's active Pokemon are asleep, and Brilliant Gamble for 1 water, 2 colorless, 100. Flip 3 coins. If this attack does 100 damage times the number of heads, if all 3 coins are tails, you lose the game. Okay, yeah, let's move on. I mean, I guess you can play this with Victini, but like the reflip Victini, but I don't know. I don't see this being played. Seal, Pokemon, basic attack, 2 colorless, 1 attack 30. Dugong, Pokemon stage 1, Tail Whip 60 for 2 colorless, and for 3 colorless, Dual Blizzard. Discard 2 energy from this Pokemon. This attack does 60 damage to 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon. Okay, that's also not very good. Then Krabby, Stampede 10, Vice Grip 20 for 1 and 2 energies. And then Kingler, Bubble Beam 80, Flip a coin effects, your opponent's was not paralyzed. And Massive Rend for 3 colors, 1 water, 130, also not too good. Goldeen, Elegant Swim, 10 damage, Flip a coin, effects prevent all damage and effects done to this Pokemon by attacks during opponent's next turn. Okay. And then Gold King, Pokemon stage 1, of course. Water Energy, Excite Horn, 30 damage, flip coins, it takes 30 damage times the number of heads. If this Pokemon has a tool attached, should flip 6 coins instead. I mean, this, like with Victini, this could actually be like a annoying 1 price attacker deck, because this deck only costs 1 energy, so you attach like a choice band, and you have Victini on your bench, and then you flip some coins. So yeah, that might be like a meme deck or like a rogue deck. So I guess that's at least something worthy to try out. Okay, next up, Curem. Cold Call for 1 colorless, search your deck for water energy. Attach to this Pokemon, then shuffle your deck. Okay, and then Hail Prison for 2 water, 1 colorless. Discard 2 water energy from this Pokemon, your opponent's active was not paralyzed. No. Froakie, basic Pokemon, quick attack 10, flip a coin, effects, this attack does 20 more damage. Weakness Grass, yeah, okay. Frogadier, stage 1. After Image Strike 20 during your opponent's next turn, if this Pokemon will be damaged by an attack, flip a coin, effects prevent all damage done by the attack. Yeah, I mean, no. I think like the problem is we still have the Frogadier in format that when you evolve, you can put 2 damage counter, and you will either use Rare Candy in any kind of Greninja deck or manually evolve. And if you manually evolve, then why would you not use the one that helps you deal some damage? So both of these, I think, are like worse versions of the basic and stage 1 that we already have in the format. And then last water Pokemon, Pyukumuku. Call for family, search a deck for 2 basic Pokemon, put them onto your bench, then shuffle your deck. And surprise RPS, play a game of rock, paper, scissors with your opponent. If you win, this deck does 60 more damage for 3 energy. Okay, the card is pretty bad. I mean, Call for Family can be decent in some decks that don't want to use like Vulpix, for example, and like need the Pokemon on the bench the first turn. That could be very useful. The second attack is pretty bad, but I like that they finally decided to put rock, paper, scissors playing onto a card again, because the last time is like pretty long ago, so I like that, but I mean the attack itself is not very good. And then of course we have another Pikachu, because yeah, there's no set without a Pikachu, so yeah, 70 HP Pikachu, Pika Ball, 30 damage for 2 energy. Then Raichu, Never Give Up. 1 colorless, you can only use this deck if you have 3 or more less price cards than your opponent. Okay, 3 or more less price cards than your opponent. Attach online energy cards from your discard pile to your Pokemon in play any way you like. And Headbolt for 110. Yeah, that's not good. Then we have Stunfisk, basic Pokemon, Raging Thunder, 30. This deck does 10 damage to one of your benched Pokemon. And Shock Trap for 2 colorless. This deck does 30 damage for each of your Pokemon with any damage counter on them. I guess I guess you could play like a Shrine deck where you damage your own bench of like support Pokemon. For example, you play like a Zoroark deck and then you damage your entire bench, so you have like 5 damaged Pokemon basically, so then you can just attack for 180 every turn with Choice Band. And I guess technically with Counter Gain Rainbow you can even use this attack, so you can even deal more damage. But that also makes your board weaker by putting Shrine in play to damage your own, and I don't know. I don't really see that. But maybe. But it's definitely very good at the pre-release because it has 110 HP and you actually get to damage your own bench. So you damage your bench, your opponent damages you, and then you deal 60, and then you deal Raging Thunder again, and then all of a sudden you deal 90, which is pretty good at pre-release. So yeah. And then Dedenne GX ability DD Charge. When you play this Pokemon from your hand on your bench during your turn, you may discard your hand and draw 6 cards. You can only use 1 DD Charge per turn. This is actually, like, the last sentence is the balancing that Shaman would have needed some years ago, because that makes the card a lot more balanced. And yeah, DD Charge, of course, gonna be very useful in any deck that wants to go off quickly, because you can just burn through your deck. I mean, ideally, let's say you play Ultra Ball, for some basics, blah blah blah, then you play your Lily, draw 8, then you play down some cards from Lily, and then you use Dedenne and use Dedenne's ability, and then you drew like 20 cards or finish your deck like by 20 cards in one turn. So that's definitely going to be very strong, but also very risky for a format that's already pretty fast. So we will see how dangerous this card is actually for the format. Static Shock for 2 energy, 50, and Electric Turn GX for 50. Your opponent's actual Pokemon is not paralyzed, but put this Pokemon and all cards attached into your hand. Yeah, this is funny because it's like a better Sky Return, because you actually also paralyze your opponent and you get the card back. So, I mean, I like it. Usually you probably won't use the attack, but I mean, you might, because like Electric Power, and then you can even take Chaos with Electric Turn and recycle it, or you just go for Paralyze. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. The attack. The ability is definitely good, so this will definitely see play. Chargerbug. So now we finally arrived at Grubbin's evolution line. Ability Battery. If this card is in your hand, you may attach it as a special entity to one of your Vikavolt or Vikavolt GX in play. While this Pokemon is attached to a Pokemon, it provides 2 lightning energy. Wait. This is actually broken. Like I just read the like the extra rule in the columns, which says like this does not count as your energy for turn. So you can actually just attach 4 charger, like go Candy Vikavolt, Charger Bug, Charger Bug, Charger Bug, Charger Bug. And for example, when we look at the Vikavolt, like the Sun&Moon Vikavolt, you could discard this Charger Bug as one of the energies, and then you can just recycle with Stretcher. Yeah, this is actually super strong. How did I not know about this card? Oh, that's actually broken. And then next up we have the Vikavolt, which the ability Stealth Buddy. If there's a stadium in play, this Pokemon has no weakness. And a Lightning Strike for 120. You may discard all lightning energy from this Pokemon. If you do this, take does 100 more damage. Okay, so I guess you just go Candy Vikavolt, Charger Bug, 220. Okay. On a non-GX, this sounds pretty balanced to me, especially with lightning support. Yeah, I mean, this card is definitely super good. Yeah, this is absolutely insane. We will see. We will see how this card will impact the meta game, because I'm like 100% certain this card will, like, these cards will see play. Next up we have Zero Aura, Clutch Core 20. This card is special card from your active Pokemon, and discharge 50. Discard all lightning energy from this Pokemon. This takes 50 damage for each card discarded this way. I mean, if you play like a lightning deck that's scared of special energies, this can definitely be a very nice tech option. But other than that, it's not too impactful. But at the tech option, definitely something to keep in mind. Next up, we have Muk and Alolan Muk Tech Team GX. Bad Poison for 1 Psychic, 2 colorless. Your opponent's active Pokemon is no poison. Put 8 damage counters for this poison. So basically deal 80 damage because your opponent will just retreat, which is bad for 3 energies on the tech team. Poison Cling 120 for 1 Psychic, 3 colorless. If your opponent's active Pokemon is poisoned, heal 100 damage from this Pokemon. Okay, this is only gonna happen if you poison in the same turn, like with Koga or something. And then Sticky Mix GX, your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned and paralyzed. If this Pokemon has 4 extra energy attached, put 15 damage counters for this poison. Yeah, this card is horrible because of all the switching options being played right now. Like, your first attack is only poison. Opponent switches. So, second attack becomes useless because second attack relies on first attack. And last attack only... Yeah, okay, I mean, it's basically deal 150 damage for... No, actually, no, not even, because you need 4 extra energies. So for 1 color, for 0 energies, of course, it's poison and paralyzed. Opponent just goes switch or Guzma, so this becomes negated. And if you have 4 energies attached to it, then you deal 150 damage. And I'm pretty sure there's definitely better tag teams to use. I mean, just look at Pikarom, for example. The card deals 150 for 3 energy, like base damage on a normal attack. You have electric power and you can accelerate energies, and the GX attack does 200 and you can snipe 170. So, and then you also, like, you have Buzzwole, which with his GX attack can take 6 prizes in 1 turn. You have even Gengar Mimikyu, which prevents your opponent from like playing any cards. Like, a lot of these have game breaking or like incredibly strong GX attacks. And then you have Muk, which says if you have 4 extra energy, you do 150. Okay, no, this is just horrible, this card. Ekans, Glare, flip a coin, fets your opponent's Pokemon is not paralyzed. And for 2 energy, Tailsmack 20, okay. Arbok, Pokemon, stage 1, rep, 30 damage, flip a coin, fets your opponent's Pokemon is not paralyzed. And for 3, Heavy Choke, 50, if this Pokemon used rep during your last turn, this Pokemon does 120 more damage. Okay, this is also bad. Zubat, Bite for 1 energy 10, and Venom Shock 20 if your opponent's was poisoned. This does 50 more damage. Also pretty bad. Golbat, Bite for 20, and Leech 40. Heal from this Pokemon the same amount of damage you did to your opponent's Pokemon. For 3 energy, definitely not justified. And then Crobat, ability Hidden Sound during your opponent's turn. During your turn, when you play this card from your hand to one of your Pokemon, you use this ability until the end of your opponent's next turn. Prevent all effects of attacks and damage done to this Pokemon. No. You have to you have to either manually evolve into Golbats, or you will eventually run out of rare candies. So no, not good. And then severe poison 60 and poison with 40. Once again, just like I said with Mug, this basically means you have a stage 2 that deals 100 for 3 energies. So yeah, next card. Guess the ability increasing Grudge. If this Pokemon gets knocked out, search your deck for 2 Haunter and put them onto your bench. Then shuffle your deck. This is actually very nice because this makes your bench basically safe. Because why would your opponent go for the Ghastly? I mean, the biggest threat is like Rare Candy Gengar, or like evolving into Haunter, and if they KO it and allow you to put Haunter into play, then you don't even need Rare Candy for Gengar. So this is actually a very cool ability on a basic Pokemon. Then Ghastly, Smog for 1 second energy, your opponent's actually focus on poisoned. Yeah, then you definitely want to play the 40 HP one. Haunter, Sinister Fork, your opponent's actually focus on poison, put 1 damage counter on each of your opponent's bench Pokemon. Okay, this is actually a very decent attack because you actually spread. And then Gengar, ability Shadow Pain. When you play this card from your hand to one of your Pokemon during your turn, you may put 6 damage counts on your opponent's Pokemon GX and EX in any way you like. Twilight Poison 70, your opponent's actually focus on poison and sleep. Yeah. I was excited for the Gengar when I saw the Ghastly, but the Gengar is bad, so yeah. Unless we have other Gengars that I'm forgetting about, aside from the tag team or upcoming Gengars, this is not going to be too useful like the entire evolution line. Drowsy, Hypnosis, your opponent's actually sleep, and Psy Punch 30 for 3 energy. And then Hypno, ability Inviting Pendulum. Whenever your opponent's active Pokemon gets knocked out, you may flip a coin. If heads, you choose the opponent Pokemon to become the new active Pokemon. Nah, this is not worth a slot in any tech deck. And this deck does 10 more damage times the number of cards in your opponent's hand. No, this is also bad. Coughing, Foul Odor, both players' active Pokemon are not confused. And then ability Detention Gas from Wheezing. While this is your active Pokemon, put 1 damage counter on all of your opponent's basic Pokemon between turns. And Flying Sludge 40, this deck does 20 damage to each of your bench Pokemon with any damage counters on them. I mean, I could see this being useful in a spread deck, like Detention Gas spreads on every basic, and then Flying Sludge also damages everything that already has damage counters, and it's a non-EX, and attacks for double colorless, so there might be a neat combo with this deck. Then Mewtwo, ability Mind Report. When you play this card from your hand during your turn, you may put a supporter card from a discard on top of your deck. And Psycho Shock 70, this deck damage is not affected by any effects of your opponent's active Pokemon. Yeah, I like this card because you just get back a supporter card. So in any deck that can afford bench space, I would go for this card because it just makes the deck more consistent. And you could even just set up combos like, okay, I need Guzma for game, and then you just go Mewtwo Guzma, and then you Lily draw into the Guzma for next turn, or just wait to draw into the Guzma next turn. So yeah, I like this Mewtwo. And then we have Mew, ability Bench Barrier, prevent all damage onto your bench Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon. This is a card that we've been like missing for some time. We had Mr. Mime for a lot of seasons, like 2 different ones. And now we have a basic again with Bench Barrier. I like this. And a Psychic Power, put 3 damage counts on your opponent's Pokemon anywhere I like. Now this is not too useful, but Bench Barrier is definitely a cool ability to have back, especially with like Pikarom. Even though we still have to see if this even stays relevant in the format. Omnis Eye, put 1 damage counter on one of your opponent's Pokemon for 1 energy. Okay, and then Miscellaneous. Ability, Mysterious Message. Once during your turn, you may knock out this Pokemon. Then draw cards until you have 7 cards in hand. Hypnoblast 70 of 164 no sleep. I guess if there's a deck that can afford this card to be knocked out, or wants this card to be knocked out, like to enter B-string turns or something, it is definitely a useful card, but on its own not too much. But definitely worth to keep in mind as a tech slot. As per Karaday, draw a card, then this Pokemon is asleep. Earkinesis, choose one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. This take just 20 damage for each damage count on that Pokemon to that Pokemon. Okay. Then Meowstic, Karaday, draw 3 cards, then this Pokemon is now asleep. Perplexing Eyes. Until the end of next turn, the defending Pokemon weakness is Psychic. Nah, they're both pretty bad. Marshadow, ability Reset Hole. Once in your turn, when this Pokemon's on your bench, you may discard a Stadium in play. Then discard this Pokemon and all cards attached to it. Oh, this is actually very cool. Like, having Stadium removal as a Pokemon? That's actually super cool. Like, I really like this card. And I also think it will see play. Because, I mean, you can just put it on your bench and then discard it. Easy. And then Red Knuckle 10 plus if your opponent's active Pokemon is an Ultra Beast to take the 60 more damage. Okay. I mean, I guess this can one-hit KO Baby Boss, so that's kind of cool, I guess. Yeah, but other than that, I mean, yeah, but for the ability, I like this card. And I guess if you play the card anyways for the ability, then you also have like a Buzzwole Baby Boss counter or something. And then we get to the fighting Pokemon. Marshadow Machamp GX, 270 HP. For one fighting, one colorless, Revenge, 30 plus. If one of the Pokemon were knocked out by damage from an attack during your opponent's last turn, this attack does 90 more damage. Two fighting, one colorless, 100 split impact, 160, and Hero Peak for two colors. Two fighting energy, one colorless. If this Pokemon has one extra energy attached to it, this Pokemon would be knocked out by damage from an opponent. Take during your opponent's next turn. This Pokemon is not knocked out, and its remaining HP becomes 10. Yeah, this is no. I don't like this card. I mean, of course, in a meta game where you want fighting attackers and you can't find any suitable ones for your deck, and you want to abuse like Revenge with fighting energy and counter gain, then this is a card you can play. But the GX is pretty bad, because unless you want to play it for the 200 damage, because again, there's just a reactive effect. So if your opponent has a Guzma or Escape Rope, then you only GX for like 200 damage and didn't get the secondary effect. So I don't know about that. Next up, Sandshrew, collect, draw a card, rolling tackle 30, Sandslash, 0 swipes, flip 4 coins, this takes 30 damage times the number of heads, and Sandtomb 90, the thing can't retreat during upon the next turn. Those cards are both pretty bad. Then Diglett, ability Secret Maneuvering. If you discard this card with the effect of Giovanni's Banishment, discard the top card of your opponent's deck. So I guess we have to see Giovanni's Banishment first before we can judge this card, but keep it in mind. And Home Ground, 30, if you have a Stadium play, take the 60 damage. Okay, yeah, that's not good. Geodude, Defense Curl, Flip Coin, Fat Spray, and all damage done to this Pokemon where it takes from opponent's next turn. And for 3 energy, Rock Throw 40. Graveler for 3 energy, Rock Avalanche 50. And for 3 colorless, 1 fighting, Double Edge 90. This Pokemon does 30 damage to itself. Okay. And then Golem for 3 energy, Steamroller 100. This take damage isn't affected by resistance. And Heavy Slam for 3 colorless and 1 fighting energy again. Heavy Slam 180 minus. This take does 20 less damage times your opponent's active Pokemon's retreat cost. Okay, these are all so pretty bad. Q1 Focus Energy. During the next turn, this Pokemon's beat does 80 damage, and then beat does 10, so next turn it does 90, but next turn Q1 is already KO'd. Marowak, Bone Rush 50, flip a coin until you get tails. This deck does 50 damage for each heads. And Assault Bound 3 colorless 70 plus. If your opponent's active Pokemon has a tool attached to it, this deck does 70 more damage. No. Also don't see it. Rhyhorn, push down 20 for 1 fighting. Your opponent switches the active Pokemon with one of their bench Pokemon. And Rhyhorn, basic Pokemon for 2 colorless, Horn attack 30, and for 1 fighting 3 colorless, Rock Smash 80. Okay, nothing spectacular on those two. Dirty Work for 2 colorless on Rhydon. Discard the top card of your opponent's deck. If you play Giovanni's Banishing during this turn, discard 4 more cards. Okay, so I guess you can... I mean, judging from what Diglett did and what this guy does now, maybe Giovanni will be like a mill deck. And then for 1 fighting and 3 colorless, Horn attack 90 damage. And then Rhyperior finally, 1 fighting, 2 girls, down can 90. If the defending Pokemon is a basic Pokemon, it can't attack during your opponent's next turn. And Ground Break 160. This attack does 20 damage for each of your bench Pokemon. Okay, so far from what I've seen from this line, the most likely case, depending on what Giovanni actually does, because I actually don't know. Rhydon might be the only viable card from this line, because Rhyperior's damage is not relevant enough and not fast enough. So you would only play Rhydon for dirty work. So yeah. But let's also Diglett and Rhydon we need to keep in mind for Giovanni's banishment. Then we have Wooper for 2 water energy, Mud Bomb 30, and Quicksire for 1 water water gun 20, and for 3 water surf 120. Both not too useful. Gligger, ability free fight, if this Pokemon has no energy attached to it. It has no retreat cast, and Ninja Thrust 30. If you play Janine from your hand during this turn, this takes 90 more damage. Okay, free flight is always nice on a basic, so that's cool. And Gliscor does collect for 3 cards for 1 colorless energy, and Poison Jab for 3 colorless 70. Your opponent's actually force no poisoned. Okay, yeah, I mean this makes the ability irrelevant because Gliscor's bad. Then we have Tyrogue, which only has an ability, which is Mischievous Kick. Once during your turn, you may flip a coin. If heads, put 3 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. Anyways, your turn ends. Okay, this is super bad. Hitmontop, finish combo. If one of your Hitmonlee used special combo during your last turn, this attack does 60 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon. I guess if you want to play like a Hitmonlee, Hitmonchan, Hitmontop deck, then you might as well include this one. But I mean, of course, in expanded Hitmonchan, like the Hitmonchan deck is pretty good, and most of them they play like one Hitmonlee. But this card would not even benefit the expanded strategy, so I don't think Hitmontop will really see play. But there's definitely a neat deck to be built around those 3, because they have like interactions with each other. So that's definitely something to like at least keep in mind. Then with Riolu Feint, this takes damage in effect by resistant. I think the Detect one is still the best Riolu, so yeah, this shouldn't matter too much. And then Landorus, linear attack, this takes 30 to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. And Power Cycle on 60, move 1 energy from this Pokemon to one of your bench Pokemon. Okay, this is pretty bad. Crabrawler, Corkscrew Smash, Corkscrew Punch, I mean. 20 for 2 colorless, and Knuckle Bomber for 1 fighting 2 colorless Knuckle. If you have more remaining press cards than your opponent, this takes 60 more damage. Okay. Crabinubble, 2 colorless, fight alone 30. If you have fewer bench Pokemon, fewer Pokemon in play than your opponent, this takes us 50 more damage for each Pokemon you have in play. Okay, so unless you have only like 1 Pokemon, this attack doesn't really do good damage. And then for 1 fighting, 2 colors, Magnum Punch 80. Yeah, okay. Then we have Stakataka, ability Stone Fence. Wait, actually? If I'm not mistaken, Stakataka is also one of the... Like, Blacephalon and Stakataka were the ones we were still missing as non-GX. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure we don't have a non-GX Stakataka yet. Yeah, basic Pokemon ability Stone Fence. If your opponent has 3 or less price cards, this Pokemon's maximum HP is 200, and then tap down for 2 fighting, 1 colorless with a coin until you get tails. For each heads, discard the top card of your opponent's deck. Yeah, seems too hard to power up to even get decent value, unless you use B-String. And then you still have like a bad mill deck, so I don't really see that. Okay, now we have a card I'm very excited for, Greninja and Zoroark GX. Dark Pulse 30, this takes us 30 plus, this takes us 30 more damage for each darkness energy you have in play. And Night Unition GX, put 2 darkness Pokemon GX EX from a discard onto your bench. If this Pokemon has 1 extra energy card attached to it, attach 2 energy cards from a discard to both of these Pokemon. So you can actually make use of Incineroar GX, and then you can use Night Unition to bring back Incineroar GX. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know if this card is gonna be too competitive. I hope so, and I will definitely try it out, but I don't want to guarantee anything right now, so yeah, but definitely keep this card in mind. Next up, Murkrow. Astonish, choose a random card from your hand, reveal it and shuffle it into your opponent's deck. And Honchkrow GX, ability Leader of the Night. If this is your active Pokemon, your opponent can't play any stadiums, special energy, or 2 cards from their hand. Okay, this is actually a very good ability. So let's see the attack. Featherstorm, for 1 darkness, 2 colorless, 90 damage. This attack does 30 damage to 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon GX EX. And Unfair GX, look at your opponent's hand and discard 2 cards you find there. The thing is, the current metagame is not too based around special energy and tool cards, and the attack is not relevant enough. But maybe in like a hit and run deck where you attack with something else and then you promote Honchcrow. Maybe. The ability is definitely not something to ignore, so definitely something to keep in mind. Then we have Carvana, 10 damage for 1 darkness energy, no, okay. And then Sharpedo, ability Greedy Evolution. During your turn, when you play this card from your hand to perform it for Pokemon, you may look at the top 6 cards of your deck and attach as many darkness energy cards you find as you like to this Pokemon. Shuffle the other cards back into your deck. And then the attack is bad, Fang 60. The attack has 20 more damage times the number of darkness energy attached to this Pokemon. So I personally would say it's just the worst Gyarados, like the Gyarados that reveals top 7 cards, discards every non-water energy, and for every water energy you do like 30 damage. So yeah, I don't see this Sharpedo being particularly good. But you could maybe play it as like a tag card in the Greninja deck, because you can just put down Sharpedo and then attach Darkness energies to it. But as a main attacker, definitely not. Spiritomb, ability, a Mass Grudge. Once in your turn, you may put 1 damage counter on this Pokemon. Okay. And then Scream of Anguish, 10 plus. This deck does 30 more damage for each damage counter on this Pokemon. Yeah, no. This card is bad. Sandile, ability, Intimidating Fang. Well, this is your active Pokemon. Your opponent's active Pokemon takes to 20 less. And now for 10. Okay. Pretentious Fang, 30. If you knock out a Pokemon with this attack, this Pokemon's attacks do 120 more damage during your next turn. Okay, that's not too likely to happen. Crocorock, 20 damage for 1 Darkness Energy with Crunch, and for 3 colorless corner 50 that affecting Pokemon card retreating upon its next turn. And then we have Crocodile, Guzzling Panic, 50. The attack does 50 damage for each times your opponent's active Pokemon retreat cost. Okay, for 3 colorless, and for 1 darkness, 3 colors, Crunch 100, discard an energy from its opponent's active Pokemon. Okay, why did I waste my time on reading 5 of the 4? Yeah, 4 of these lines cards. Pretty bad. Greninja, bring down, knock out 1 Pokemon with the fewest remaining HP in play except this Pokemon, and then Miss/70. This attacks and damage isn't affected by weakness, resistance, or any effect on your opponent's active Pokemon. Definitely interesting, especially with all the, like with the other Greninja and Froggy that put damage counters, so you can just go ahead and put a GX Pokemon in range and then just KO it, because this deck doesn't specify that you can't use GX Pokemon. Because previously when we had similar attacks, they usually said like, okay, you can't choose a GX Pokemon or something, or you can't choose Evolve Pokemon or whatever. But with this Greninja, you can actually choose whatever you want. So yeah, I think that's definitely going to be funny to try out in like a spread Greninja GX deck. So yeah, and I will most likely try that out. So stay tuned for that. Then we have Inkay, Perplex, 1 darkness energy, your opponent's active Pokemon is now confused. And Malama, Hypnotic Domination, look at for 1 cent. You may discard a Pokemon card you find there and use one of the attacks from the card you discarded. Dark Pressure 80, discard the top card from your opponent's deck for 3 energy. I really like the first attack. Like, this sounds super fun. But also kinda risky and bad. But also something funny to definitely try out when the new set hits PTC Joe. Next up, Metal Pokemon, Lucario and Melmetal GX, Steel Fist. 2 colorless, search your deck for metal energy attached to this Pokemon, then shuffle your deck. 2 metal and 2 colorless, heavy impact 150, and full Metal Wall GX until the end of this game. All your metal Pokemon take 30 less damage from your opponent's attack. If this Pokemon has 1 extra energy attached to it, discard all energy from its active Pokemon. So this might actually see play. Normally you would say, of course, it has weakness to Charizard, how can this ever see play? But because of cards like Metal Frying Pan, which gets rid of weakness, this card might actually be kind of decent. Because after you GX, like, let's say you GX turn 1 for like a double colorless, or like turn 2, and then you can even discard more energies from your opponent Pokemon. And from that point, every of your metal Pokemon takes 30 less damage. So this Melmetal with a Frying Pan and the GX active gets minus 60 damage and also doesn't have weakness anymore. So I would say that's pretty okay. So if you can make it like worth with like the amount of healing and stuff, so yeah, might be pretty decent. Alolan Diglett Pokemon, but of course keep in mind people might just start playing Field Blow again. Alolan Diglett Pokemon Basic Scratch 10 EP. Alolan Dugtrio Hairwall. All your metal Pokemon in play take 10 less damage from attack. And for 2 energy hammer in 40. So I guess you want to play Melmetal Alolan Dugtrio to be super tanky. And then Acerola around and stuff. Maybe. Aaron, Richtify. This Pokemon takes 30 less damage from attacks during your opponent's next turn. And Metal Claw 20. Laron, Richtify. This Pokemon takes 30 less damage during your opponent's next turn. And Headbutt for 70. And then Aggron, Tight Press. If this Pokemon is damaged by an attack during your opponent's next turn, put 8 damage counts on the attacking Pokemon. And then Giga Impact 160. This Pokemon can't attack during your opponent's next turn. Bad. Lucario, low kick 40 and rush up for 2 metal 60. If you attach a tool to this Pokemon in this turn, this attack does 70 more damage. If this wouldn't require 2 colored energies, I would say this card has at least potential because you can just attach a choice band and deal 160. But requiring you to attach 2 energy at a time, and you can't even like make use of XP share because you have to attach 2 in the turn. So yeah, no. But I guess you can play Genesect and remove tools, attach a new one, but I don't know. Ability High Speed Flying Shape. If your opponent has any Pokemon GX EX in play, this Pokemon has no retreat cost, and Split Beam 30 detectors 30 damage to 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon. Pretty bad. Meltan. Melt Steel 10. If your opponent's active Pokemon is a metal Pokemon, this detectors 40 more damage. And Melmetal. Ability Metal Eater. Once during your turn, you may discard a metal Pokemon from your hand, then heal 100 damage from this Pokemon. And Heavy Impact 130. I guess in a Lucario deck, like Lucario Melmetal GX deck, this card might also as well be played. But I don't know. The amount of energies you need for Heavy Impact seems so like bad. Because your opponent can even go for a 2-shot, so technically you require 2 metal energies in hand every turn because you need to attach 1 and discard the other 2 heal. So I don't know about that. So next up, Fairy type. Getting very close to the end, I think. Pretty sure the only 2 types left after this one are Colorless and Dragon, if there's even Dragon Pokemon in the set. Gardevoir Sylveon GX, Fairy Song. Search your deck for 2 Fairy Energy cards, attach them to your bench Pokemon anywhere you like. Kaleido Storm 150 for 3 energy. Move as many energy cards attached to any of your Pokemon to your Pokemon anywhere you like. And Miracle Magic GX, 3 Fairy Energy. If this Pokemon has 3 energy attached to it, your opponent shuffles their hand into their deck. Yeah, this card definitely has potential. Like Miracle Magic GX, when your opponent doesn't have a board, it's like super broken. Because if they don't have the top deck is supporter card, you get another free turn. So you can just go like Miracle GX, take a GX KO, and then next turn Kaleido Storm, take another KO. And then they're still in top deck mode. And if they don't have a lot of resource on board, then they still won't be able to do a lot. And it's also very good that this card actually accelerates its own energies with Fairy Song. So yeah, I think this card is pretty good. Next up, we have Cleffer. Ability, Enthusiastic Draw. Once during a turn, you may flip a coin. If first shuffle your hand to your deck, then draw 6 cards. Anyways, your turn ends. Yeah, this card is pretty bad. Just like Tyrogue, because your turn ends. Clefairy, Double Slap, 10, flip 2 coins. This attack does 10 damage times the number of hits. And Clefable, Moon Viewing Dance, 10+. This attack does 30 more damage times the number of Pokemon with Fairy Energy attached to you have in play. Okay, also pretty bad. Jigglypuff, Ball Roll, flip a coin to flip tails. This deck does 20 damage for its heads. Wigglytuff, Polish Balls, push 3 energy cards from a discard into your hand. And Sleep Ball, 80, your opponent's active focus now sleep. Also pretty bad. Togepi, Daunt, the defending opponent's attack to 30 less damage during the next turn. Bad. Togetic, Energy Present, attach an energy from your hand to one of your managed Pokemon. Magical Shot, 30, bad. And then finally, Togekiss, ability Fairy Blanket. Once during your turn, you may heal 30 damage from all of your fairy Pokemon. It's a stage 2, so it's pretty horrible. So next up we have Cottony. Expand, 10 damage, reduce damage by 10 and respond by attacks during your opponent's next turn. And Whimsicott GX, Pokemon, stage 1, ability Fluffy Cotton. If this Pokemon would be damaged by attack, flip a coin, effects prevent that damage. Energy Blow, 10 plus, this deck does 30 more damage for each energy attached to this Pokemon. And Toybox GX, search your deck for up to 5 cards and put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck. Yeah, I can just see this being a very annoying like stall deck, because stall-like deck, because you just attach more energy, hope that your Whimsicott doesn't get KO'd, and then you can also use Toybox to get your setup, get the cards you need, get like maybe even Crushing Hammers and stuff. So, I mean, there's definitely options for this card to be very annoying in the format. Then we have Spritzy, Nap, heal 20 damage from this Pokemon, Fairy Wind 10, and then Aromatisse, Intense Scent, flip 2 coins. If either sets, look at the opponent's hand and shuffle a card for each sets into their deck. And Miracle Cologne, 30, flip a coin, if sets choose a special condition, your opponent's active Pokemon is now affected by the special condition. No, all pretty bad. Rattata now 30, and then Raticate for 2 colors, Flee 70, if your opponent's active Pokemon is an evolved Pokemon, switch this with one of a bench Pokemon. Okay, also pretty bad. Spearow, Glide for 10, Speeder for 20, Phero, Drill Liner double, 27, flip a coin, if sets discard 2 energy from its active Pokemon and 70 damage for each sets. Pretty bad. Meowth, Cutter Day, draw 2 cards, and this Pokemon is asleep. Tailweb 30, okay. Then Persian, ability Cat Meeting, all attacks of your Pokemon with the Cutter Day attack. All of your Pokemon with the Cutter Day attack have no energy cost. And Clawswipe for 3 energy, 90. Yeah, like from what I remember, all these Cutter Day cards were pretty bad, so it's not even worth to try play this deck unless you want to just have fun and build like a Mimi deck. So yeah, Mimi kind of deck is fine, but other than memes, no, I don't see it. Persian GX, ability Catwalk. If one of your Pokemon GX was knocked out during your opponent's last turn, you may search your deck for 2 cards and put them into your hand. Then shuffle your deck. You can only use 1 Catwalk a turn. Vengeance, 10 plus. This deck does 20 damage for each Pokemon you discard. You can't add more than 180 damage this way. And Slashback GX for 3 colors as well. Switch this Pokemon for your revenge Pokemon. I really like the ability and the first attack. I think they are incredibly strong. And especially with something that might actually be one of the cards that Zoroark needs to come back into the format. I mean, you can trade away Pokemon anyways, and then Catwalk gives you even more options, even more cards. Yeah, I like Persian GX. I really like it. Doduo, pack 10, double pack 20, 2 coins, this deck does 20 for each hits. Dodrio, Tri Attack, 60, flip 3 coins, this deck does 60 for each hits. Accelerated Step, 90. This Pokemon can't use Accelerated Step during your next turn. Because that's the handicap the card needed. Because otherwise it would have been too broken with 2 colors for 90. Okay, sure. Lickitung, 2 colorless, 30, flip a coin, if it's your opponent's active focus not paralyzed. And Licky, 2 colors, pick and eat, 40. Before doing damage, discard all Pokemon tools attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. If you discard a tool, heal all damage from this Pokemon. And Lick Hurricane, 60, flip 4 coins, this deck does 60 damage for each heads. No, that's pretty bad. Porygon, Digicharge. Did we revive the Digimon or what? Flip 3 coins. For each head, set your deck for an energy card. Reveal it and put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck. Okay, it says energy card, so you can actually search for special energies, which is nice. Then with the next Porygon, 10 more HP, quick draw a card, ram 20 for 2 colorless. Nah. Porygon 2, double draw 2 cards, and spinning attack for 30, also pretty bad. And then we have Porygon Z, ability Crazy Code. As often as you like during your turn, you may attach a special energy card from your hand to one of your Pokemon. And then Tantrum for 3 colors, 120. Yeah, so I guess Rain Dance for special energies, that seems very strong, and this will definitely get abused sooner or later, so yeah, this card is incredibly powerful. Imagine, instead of just attaching 1 DCE in a turn, which people already claim is too broken as a card, you can just attach 2 or 3 or 4 DCE per turn. So yeah, this is pretty good. Snorlax ability Snacking. Heal 10 damage from this Pokemon return turns. And big counter 60. If your opponent's active in the tag team GX, this will take this 120 more damage. Okay, this is bad. Glameow, Catterday, draw a card, this Pokemon is now asleep. And Bjorn Tail, this will take the 60 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon DX. And see, this is what I mean. Like, okay, Persian says this card doesn't require any energy. Okay, then your attack for the turn is sniping 60. Wow. Powerful. Porugly, Cat Dash, 30. Discard a random card from your hand. If this Pokemon evolved from Glameow during this turn, discard 2 cards instead. This is actually kind of nice. And then Lunch Out, 80 for 3 colorless. Second attack, first attack is definitely interesting. Second attack is pretty bad. Then we have Happiny playing House Heal. Once during your turn, you may flip a card, and if that's heals 60 damage from one of your Pokemon. Anyways, your turn ends. I think from all the like baby Pokemon, this is actually the most playable because of one simple reason. Like there's no kind of deck that can what's it called? Can afford, yes, to like end their turn for bad ability. Like, okay, of course, Clever's ability sounds super good because you shuffle and draw 6, but your turn ends regardless, even if you flip tails. And then Tyrogue is super horrible because you only put 3 damage counters and your turn ends, so it's basically like attacking for 30. But Happiny, because it heals, it might actually see play in mill decks because you can just go, okay, I can afford to end my turn because I used my supporter, I won't use Steven this turn, and I'm not attacking anyways because I'm a mill deck. And then you just go Happiny and try to heal. And if your turn ends, okay, then your turn ends. But you could set up for like you could set up your board in a way, or like your hand, that you either have to rely on Happiny, in which case you use Acerola or Max Potion, or you don't have to rely on Happiny, in which case it's fine. Like if you flip tails, okay, then next turn you just use Max Potions, for example. So I think this is like the most promising from the baby Pokemon because this is actually a rule that you can afford in some decks. Then we have Mimic. Shuffle your hand into a deck on Shadow. Draw as many cards as it wants in hand. That used to be a tech for free, by the way, 10 years ago. Tone Deaf, 10. Your opponent's active was not confused. Pretty bad. And then for the last and final Pokemon, so that means we don't have any Dragon Pokemon in the set. Celesteela GX, ability Force Canceller. If this is your active Pokemon, when all damage and effects done by your opponent's GX attacks to any of your Pokemon in play. Okay, this is cool because it's actually a card that prevents GX attacks. But only when it's active, so I guess you have to like play in a way that forces your opponent to attack into him or something. Power Cyclone, move 1 energy from this Pokemon to one of your bench Pokemon for 110. 3 colorless. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's okay if you want to wall anyways. And Discovery GX, put all your prize cards into your hand. Put the same number of cards from the top of your deck as new prize cards. If you have less deck than prize cards, you can't use this attack. Okay, this last sentence is very important, I think. Because, no, actually it doesn't make sense. That actually only makes sense if you have 0 cards in deck anyways. Okay, I guess then it makes sense, yeah. Because even if you have 1 card in deck, if you go and then you switch 6 prizes for 1, then you just lose to deck on next turn. So yeah. Yeah, but I guess Celesteela, if you desperately need to counter GX attack, Celesteela might actually be pretty useful. So let's get to the item and supporter and every card. So we have Beastringer. If you have exactly 6 remaining prize cards and the Ultra Beast this card is attached to, knocks out your opponent's active Pokemon EX GX by damage from an attack. Draw 1 extra prize card. So there we go. You already thought that Buzzwole Pheromosa was going to take 5 prizes on your GX. Haha, you were wrong. Beastringer, I take 6. So, okay, this is, yeah. Okay. Frost Ice X. Look at the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck, choose 2 of them and shuffle them back into your opponent's deck. Put the other card on top of your opponent's deck. It's decent for control decks. Evolution Spray Z. Choose one of your Pokemon in play and shuffle as many evolution cards from this Pokemon as you like into your deck. This counts as devolving this Pokemon. Sure, why not? Might come in handy in some decks. Duststone. Choose one of your Mischievous, Murkrow, Doublade, or Lampent in play. Search your deck for a card which evolves from a Pokemon, evolve the chosen Pokemon. You can do this during your first turn, and during the turn this Pokemon was put into play. So I guess that makes Miscellaneous a little bit better, but you still have to give up a price, so you really need to find a deck that can afford to do that. Stadium, Dust Island. If a player switches their poison active Pokemon with the effect of their own trainer card, the new active Pokemon is now poisoned. If the poison damage has been altered by an effect, this effect is also applied to the new poison. I still don't think that makes Mug or any other card any good, because if you're really scared of that deck, then you could also just kick the Stadium. So, I mean, of course then you need Switch card and Stadium, but you can also just kick the Stadium and then retreat or something. Oh no, it's actually only with effect, so if you retreat, the Stadium doesn't even work. So okay, it's even worse than I thought. Next card, you have to discard Electromagnetic Radar. You have to discard 2 cards from your hand to play this card. Search your deck for 2 Lightning Pokemon EXGAs, reveal them, put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck. Yeah, I think this is a very cool card. This is just Ultra Ball basically, but for Lightning Pokemon, and you get 2, so this is very nice. Then Energy Spinner, finally. Should have been released last set already, but now it's finally here. Search your deck for 1 basic energy card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck. If you're in second and it's your first turn, you may search your deck for 3 basic cards instead. Yeah, this is definitely a very solid card, so yeah, that's good. Fairy Charm ability. Prevent all damage done to the fairy Pokemon this card is attached to by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon with ability, which has an, Pokemon EXGS with ability. Fairy Charm Lightning. Prevent all damage done to this turn to the fairy Pokemon this card is attached to by attacks from your opponent's Lightning Pokemon GX and Lightning Pokemon EX. So I think that actually like rounds up the Fairy Charms. I think that means we have all the Fairy Charms, so that might make the Gardevoir deck even better, because you can actually adjust to a lot of different matchups. So yeah, these 2 cards are definitely also good, especially like the ability one. Okay, then Flame Crystal. Put 3 fire energy from your discard pile into your hand. Yeah, this is definitely something for our fire decks, so also something to keep in mind. And then finally Giovanni's Banishment, the card that, like all these mill cards I've been talking about. Discard up to 2 of your bench Pokemon with no damage counters on them and all cards attached to them. Well, that's underwhelming. It's actually super underwhelming. I thought the card would say, like, when I read the first sentence was discard up to 2 of your bench Pokemon with no damage counters on it and discard like some cards for each of them, but this is just bad. So that makes Rhyperior and Diglett also super bad. Green Search. You can only play this card if you have no Pokemon with ability in play. Search your deck for 2 trainer cards, reveal them, put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck. So for those that don't remember, Buzzwole Pheromosa actually doesn't have an ability, so you can actually always use Green Search. And like all the fire Pokemon also didn't have abilities, so I mean you might have to, like, yeah, you might want to use some abilities in the fire deck, but for the Buzzwole deck this is definitely the go-to supporter, because it's just super broken. You can just search 2 B-strings in the B-string turn, so yeah, very good card. Then we have Janine. Look at the top 4 cards of your deck, choose 2 of them, put them into your hand, then shuffle the remaining cards back. And Koga, your opponent's X4 is now poisoning confused. Yeah, so Koga is actually what I said earlier. And yeah, I guess you can build a funny deck about Venomoth and Koga Strap and Janine. But I think it's not going to be incredibly powerful, but definitely funny, I think. And then Lieutenant's Search Strategy, the card that people have been talking so much about ever since it was revealed. You can only play this card if you have more remaining prize cards than your opponent. You can play 3 supporter cards this turn, including this card, so 2 extra. Well, let me tell you something about these kinds of cards. Like, there are game mechanics in Pokemon. For example, you can only attach 1 energy per turn. You can have 5 bench Pokemon. These are basic, and you can only play 1 supporter card per turn. These are basic rules and basic elements of the game. And whenever there was a card that plays around these kind of things, like, let's take the energy part, for example. You can only attach 1 energy. DCE attaches 2 energies. Double Rainbow used to attach 2 energies. Upper Energy gave you basically DCE if you were behind in prices, or if your Pokemon got KO'd. Counter Gain gives you an extra energy if you're behind in prices. Counter Gain gives you an extra energy if you're behind in prices. Basically, all of these cards have seen play. Then we have the stadium cards, like the bench space thing. Giant Stump, back in the day, said both players have 3 bench Pokemon. Was played a lot. Parallel City was super broken, and a lot of people complain about the card. Sudowoodo is still being played in Expanded, and also that also goes the other way. You can only have 5 bench Pokemon. With Parallel City you can have 8. Parallel City, incredibly broken, made Zoroark one of the best decks in Expanded, and maybe even one of the best decks ever to be in existence. So Lieutenant Search, allowing you to not just play 1 additional supporter, but 2 additional supporters in addition to this card, is just bound to be like welcoming incredibly broken combos. Like, for example, let's say you're like, I can win next turn, Guzma this, blah blah blah. Opponent just goes, you have like an active Pokemon where you're like, okay, my opponent can't KO this and get rid of his Pokemon, so I win. And then your opponent just goes Search, Ace Roller, Guzma, KO, and you lose. Or in middle decks, you think, okay, my opponent plays an N to 1, or like my opponent plays some card to disrupt my hand. Then you're like, okay, it's still fine. And then your opponent just goes disrupt. Or you can only attach 1 energy per turn. Like right now it's okay. Eventually your opponent runs out of out of Plumera, and then he needs to like Lusamine, and you get 1 turn. But with Search you can just go Search, Lusamine, like Search Plumeria, and then Lusamine for Lusamine Plumeria. Or like for Search Lusamine. Of course, you won't get back all your combo pieces, because you still have to keep in mind you use 3 supporters, you only get 2 back. But in the long run, you just get way more value out of your mill cards. So this card will definitely 100% introduce broken combos into the game, especially in Expanded. For example, in Japan, Delinquent is not even banned, so your opponent can just go Search and Delinquent. Or Search, Delinquent, Stadium, Delinquent. Take away 6 of your cards in it. So, yeah. Pretty broken. Next up we have Fighting Dojo, with basic Fire Energy attached to them, except Ultra Beast, do 10 more damage against the opponent's Pokemon. If a player's remaining prize cards are more than that their opponent, they takes to 40 more damage instead. Yeah. Potential. Definitely potential. Metal Core Barrier. Discard this card at the end of your opponent's turn. The metal Pokemon discard attached to this takes 70 less damage from your opponent's Pokemon's attack. Okay, with Melmetal, that makes minus 100. Yikes. So, yeah, I guess Field Blower will definitely become a thing again. Mulane. If you have to discard 2 mana energy cards from your hand to play this card. No, you have to discard 2 mana energy cards from your hand to play this card. Shuffle 1 trainer card from your discard into your deck. I don't think it's worth, unless you really desperately want one of your trainers back. Pokegear, look at the top 7 cards of your deck, choose a border card you find there, reveal and put it into your hand, then shuffle the remaining cards back into your deck. Definitely a very nice card. Has seen play the last time when it was released, so yeah, I like it. Unmanned Power Plant. Both players Pokemon EX and GX in play have no ability. So basically Garbotoxin, like kind of Garbotoxin as a stadium, so also probably gonna see play. Red's Challenge. You have to discard 2 cards from your hand to play this card. Search your deck for any 1 card and put it into your hand. Then shuffle your deck. Yeah. Basically computer search as a supporter, so if you're only one card off of the game, that's not a supporter card, or even again, you can just go for search. You can play search, Red's Challenge, and then Guzma or something. So yeah, Red's Challenge also definitely interesting. Samson Oak, draw 2 cards. If both Pokemon have the same type, draw 2 additional cards. Okay, this is bad. Spyhood, prevent all abilities sent to the Pokemon discard a statue by your opponent's Pokemon. I guess. Surprise Box, put a card from your opponent's discard pile into their hand. I mean, I guess that works in decks where your opponent has to have cards in the discard pile and you can just give them back. So basically a return label, but instead of putting it on the bottom of the deck, you actually give it into their hand. I don't know. Ultra Forest Card Envoy. Damage done by your Ultra Beast during this turn is not affected by any effects of 4/1 Pokemon. So this means you can just ignore stuff like Hoopa and stuff with your Ultra Beast. Welder, attach 2 final cards from your hand to one of your Pokemon, then draw 3 cards. So this is like the final card we've been waiting for in the set, like the final fire support. This is just super good. I mean, you discard fire energies with like Ultra Ball or other cards, and you just go, okay, I attach them, I get them back with Fire Reflint later, like when you don't need them at the current moment, and you can just attach them, and then you draw 3 cards as well. And Blacksmith was already played, which did basically the same, but from the discard, but it didn't even draw cards, so Welder's just a stronger Blacksmith basically, which makes the card incredibly strong. So yeah, fire decks are very strong. And then finally, the last card for the set, to finally wrap up this set review, which was very long, because as you can see, Triple Accelerate Energy number 190, so almost 200 cards in the set. And that's not even like counting all the full arts and secret rares. This card can only be attached to an evolved Pokemon. At the end of the turn, this card was attached, discarded. This card provides 3 colors energy. If this card is attached to anything but an evolved Pokemon, discarded. So yeah, you can just attach a triple colorless to your Pokemon that need colorless energy. Yeah, there you go. In case double colorless energy was not strong enough. So, but yeah, the set definitely has a lot of very strong and potentially meta-defining cards. So it's gonna be very interesting once the set hits the tournament scene and we get to play it at tournaments. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the set review. Was pretty long again, but I wanted to take a look at every card, not just limited to the very strong cards from the beginning, so that we can just have a recheck on actually all of these cards and check how bad they are actually, and maybe some potential cards that are actually not that bad. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time.